Do you want to look as old as your grandpa? Pinstripe suits are mandatory for this purpose. Today, as you can see, we talk about pinstripe fabrics and how they are manufactured. Pinstripe fabrics were born in the 19th century as a typical menswear. Back in the days, it was the uniform of London bankers. So, pinstripe equal gentleman. That's why many gangsters started using it to feel like a gentleman for a while. Pinstripe suits, especially in those years, meant two things: wealth and power. Winston Churchill was a big fan of pinstripes, so was Dizzy Gillespie, Clark Gable, and many other actors. Rita Hayworth in Gilda helped spreading this fancy fabric also in women's wear. So, in the 40s, this fabric was well known and much appreciated by the crowd. But how is this fabric produced? Let's see more in details. Pinstripes are a pattern of very thin stripes of any color running in parallel, generally white or off-white on a black or dark background. That's why there is a type of pinstripe which is called chalk stripe, because it's like a chalk drawn on the blackboard. Anyway, the width of the stripes is very different, usually 7 mm for fine stripes, 12 mm for classic medium stripes, and 20 mm for wide stripes. We have two main patterns when we talk about pinstripe fabrics. Chalk stripe, it's a continuous line as if it's drawn with chalk, with a wide ruling. Since it's like a chalk, the stripe is wider than normal. Then there is pencil stripe, a succession of small dots, which has the thickness of a pencil stroke. Here, the width of the stripe is much lower, like a pencil indeed. There is a third pattern which is called cable stripe. This indicates a line formed by small diagonal lines that recall the designs of a rope. I have a pinstripe suit, as you can see here, and we will see through the linen tester how this fabric is produced. Let's see more in details. The pinstripe is often compared to similar chalk stripe. Pinstripes are very thin, often 0.85 mm in width, and are created with one single warp yarn or two warp yarns, even though it depends on the fabric. To create a perfect pinstripe, you need a number of black or dark warp yarns, in this case 32 dark warp yarns, and then one or a small amount of white or light warp yarns. In this case, we have two light yarns to create the actual pattern. The weft is always black or dark. In this particular case, we have 32 dark twisted warp yarns, 2 plies, 100% wool, 2 light twisted warp yarns, one bigger, one thinner of different colors, 100% wool, all dark twisted weft yarns, single plied, 100% wool. The yarns used are generally high-quality cotton and wool due to their elegancy and soft hand. Also, synthetic blends in polyester can be used. The fabric is always a woven fabric because, let's say it, it's quite impossible to be so geometrical in knitted fabrics. The weave pattern can be a plain weave like canvas or a twill. In our example, it's a plain weave with this particular weaving pattern. If it's canvas, the stripes are more linear and thin, whereas if it's a twill, generally the texture is softer, but the stripes are diagonal. Pinstripe fabrics have been used less and less during the years, but from time to time there is some stripe that comes out in some runways, like Jean-Paul Gaultier in Fall-Winter 1997 or Dolce & Gabbana in Spring-Summer 2025, or why not, Achille Lauro during the Sanremo Festival in Italy in 2025. Before saying goodbye, there is a fantastic legend story that I would like to share with you guys. The legend says, always look at a businessman pinstripe suit. If they have much spacing between the stripes, they are dishonest. The wider the spacing, the more of a crook he is. That's it for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the content of this video. You will find my details below, along with my email, Reddit, and so on. If you need any textile help, I'm at disposal, naturally. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Always remember that as long as they are fabrics, there will always be a story to tell. Cheers, guys, to the next video.